An incarnation who is known as the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu, who cleared the earth of warriors 21 times, who followed his father's command and cut his mother's head with his own hands, who pleased Lord Shiva through deep penance and received the divine axe, the Parashurama, and who became such a great master of warfare that mighty warriors like Bhishma, Karna, and Dronacharya learned from him. Who was he? Why was there so much anger in his heart? Why is he still alive, immortal, a Chiranjeevi? And why did even the ocean move back on his command? Today we will learn the complete story of Lord Parashurama, his birth, his vow, his struggles, and his divine contribution. So stay with us till the end of this video, because this is the story of an avatar who is a hero, a sage, and also a destroyer. There are different opinions about the exact birthplace of Lord Parashurama, but his family lineage goes back to the Haihaya dynasty, which existed in the region of Maheshwar in present-day Madhya Pradesh. Parashurama's grandfather, Rishi Ruchika, was a great sage and a descendant of Lord Brahma. Parashurama belonged to the Bhargava lineage and is considered the family guru of the Brahmins of the Bharadwaj Gotra. Once, Rishi Ruchika travelled across the country looking for a suitable bride. At that time, two major dynasties existed in India, the Surya Vansh and the Chandra Vansh. King Gadhi, a ruler of the Chandra Vansh, had a very beautiful daughter named Satyavati. Rishi Ruchika arrived in the court where he was warmly welcomed. Seeing Satyavati, he felt a deep admiration for her and requested the king for her hand in marriage. King Gadhi was surprised, but he could not refuse a Brahmin. So he placed a condition. Rishi Ruchika must bring 1,000 horses as dowry. These horses had to be completely white with only one ear black. Rishi Ruchika agreed. He performed penance and prayed to Lord Varuna, who blessed him with the exact horses the king had demanded. He gave these horses to King Gadhi and received Satyavati as his wife. Satyavati adapted to the life of a sage, but she was unable to conceive. Meanwhile, her father, King Gadhi, had no heir either. Seeing Satyavati sad, Rishi Ruchika prepared two sacred herbal potions. One for Satyavati's mother, so she would give birth to a strong Kshatriya son, and one for Satyavati, so she would give birth to a wise and radiant son of a sage. But Satyavati's mother became suspicious and switched the two potions. Time passed and both women became pregnant. Rishi Ruchika noticed that Satyavati carried the aura of a Kshatriya. When he asked her the reason, she told him the truth. Rishi said, "Now our son will be a great warrior, not a sage." Satyavati pleaded with him and requested that her son should become a sage and her grandson should become the great warrior. Rishi Ruchika accepted her request. Satyavati later gave birth to Rishi Jamadagni, who became one of the Saptarishis. And Jamadagni's son became Lord Parashurama, the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu and one of the greatest warriors of the age. Lord Parashurama married Renuka, who had already given birth to 4 sons: Vasu, Vishwasu, Brihudyanu, and Britvankva. Wishing for a 5th child, Rishi Jamadagni and Renuka performed intense penance near Renuka Lake at a place called Tepeka Tibba. Lord Shiva, pleased with their devotion, blessed them, and Lord Vishnu himself took birth as their son. This divine child was named Ramabhadra or Rama, who later became famous as Parshurama. Mother Renuka was known for her purity, devotion, and dedication to her husband. Her devotion was so strong that she could carry water in an unbaked clay pot, a miracle made possible only by her inner purity. One day, when Renuka went to the river, she saw a group of celestial beings passing through the sky in a chariot. For a moment, her mind became distracted. Instantly, the clay pot dissolved in the water, showing the loss of her complete purity of thought. Afraid and ashamed, she did not return home. Rishi Jamadagni, through his divine vision, saw everything and became upset. He called his eldest son, gave him an axe, and ordered him to punish his mother. The son refused. Jamadagni turned him into stone. He called the next son. He too refused. By and by, all the 4 sons were turned into stone. Only the youngest, Parshurama, remained. He had always followed his father's words. Without hesitation, he obeyed the command and cut off his mother's head. Pleased with Parshurama's obedience, Jamadagni said, "Ask for 2 boons." Parshurama bowed and said, "First, please bring my mother back to life. Second, please return all my brothers to human form." Rishi Jamadagni, moved by his son's loyalty and compassion, granted both wishes. Thus, Parshurama became known not only as a great warrior, but also as a devoted and ideal son. Lord Parashurama left his home and chose the path of intense penance to please Lord Shiva. Seeing his deep devotion, unshaken focus, and complete dedication, Lord Shiva became extremely pleased. He blessed Parashurama with many divine weapons. Among these weapons, the most important and powerful was the Parashu, the divine axe, which was undefeatable and indestructible. Lord Shiva told Parshurama that now he must free the earth from unrighteous people, immoral rulers, violent beings, and those who had become blind with pride and cruelty. One day, to test Parshurama's skill in warfare, Lord Shiva himself challenged him to a battle. A fierce battle began between the Guru and the disciple, and it continued for 21 days. During this battle, when Lord Shiva attacked Parshurama with his Trishool, Parshurama quickly bent down and avoided the strike. At the same moment, he counterattacked with his Parashu. His divine axe struck directly on Lord Shiva's forehead and created a deep wound. Seeing Parshurama's skill and dedication, Lord Shiva became extremely happy. He embraced Parshurama with love and kept the mark of that wound on his forehead as a symbol of pride, a reminder of his greatest disciple. In Lord Shiva's 1,000 names, one name is Khanda Parashu, meaning the one who was struck by the Parashu. This name honors the divine battle and the glory of Parshurama. Lord Parashurama fought Sahasrabahu Arjuna, also known as Kartavirya Arjuna or Sahasra Arjuna, with his divine Parashu. In the battle, Parshurama cut off all 1,000 arms of Sahasrabahu and finally defeated and killed him. After this, he attacked his army with powerful arrows, scattering and defeating them. With the end of such a cruel king, people across the land felt great relief and happiness. Indra, the king of the gods, became very pleased with Parshurama's bravery and gifted him his most precious bow, Vijaya. This was the same bow Indra had used to destroy many demons. With this divine bow Vijaya, Parshurama became an undefeatable warrior. Thus, the Vijaya bow, used by Indra and Parshurama, finally reached the hands of the great warrior Karna. During the time of Lord Parashurama, India's history was filled with conflicts. According to the Puranas, many warrior clans fought among themselves constantly. Parshurama lived in Mahishmati, present-day Maheshwar, on the banks of river Narmada. The Haihaya Kshatriyas and the Bhrigu Brahmins, from whom Parshurama had born, had a long-standing rivalry. This rivalry is mentioned many times in the Mahabharata. The Haihaya king, Kartavirya Arjuna, also known as Sahasrabahu Arjuna, was extremely powerful and strict. He is believed to be a manifestation of Lord Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra. He had received divine blessings from Lord Dattatreya, including a flying chariot and 1,000 arms. With these powers, he became very strong and had even defeated Ravana. One day, Kartavirya Arjuna visited the ashram of Rishi Jamadagni, Parshurama's father. At that time, Parshurama was in the forest collecting materials for a ritual. Even though the king's army was huge, Rishi Jamadagni served them all a grand meal with the help of the divine cow Kamadhenu. When the king learnt of this miracle, he wanted to take the cow with him. When the sage refused, Kartavirya Arjuna forcefully seized Kamadhenu. When Parshurama returned and heard everything, he became furious. He attacked the king's palace, defeated his soldiers, and killed Kartavirya Arjuna with his Parashu. He brought Kamadhenu back to the ashram. Jamadagni welcomed him, but after seeing the blood on his parashu, he warned him that anger and pride are not right for a Brahmin. Parshurama accepted this teaching and went on a pilgrimage for 1 year. During Parshurama's absence, the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna attacked the ashram to take revenge. They killed Rishi Jamadagni, shooting him with arrows and cutting off his head.
When Parshurama returned, he saw his mother Renuka crying near the body of her husband. In deep grief and anger, Parshurama struck his chest 21 times. Every strike represented a vow. He took an oath that he would destroy the cruel Kshatriyas 21 times, once for each strike on his chest. Parshurama then travelled across the earth and defeated the Kshatriya warriors, whether guilty or innocent. The Mahabharata says, between Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, Parshurama destroyed the Kshatriyas 21 times and filled 5 lakes with their blood. These lakes are known as Samant Panchak. A local legend says that after one violent battle, Parshurama washed his parashu in the Malaprabha river. The blood was so deep that the river turned red. Women washing clothes nearby shouted, Aihole, meaning what a river. This is said to be the origin of the name Aihole, a place in Karnataka. Another story says that when Parshurama reached South India, the coastal fishing communities became afraid. They wore the sacred thread like Brahmins and behaved like Brahmins. Parshurama forgave them and even granted them land. Finally, Parshurama performed the Ashwamedha Yajna, a ritual performed only by a great emperor. After the Yajna, he donated all the land he had conquered to sage Kashyapa and other Brahmins. He especially gave land to those Brahmins from North India who were living in poverty and serving as priests in difficult conditions. The remaining Kshatriyas tried to stop the Ashwamedha Yajna. They either had to defeat Parshurama in battle or accept his authority, but they could do neither. They failed to stop the Yajna and were finally destroyed. Lord Parashurama is known as the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu. He is unique because, due to his immortality, he witnessed and interacted with the next 2 incarnations of Vishnu, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. He played important roles in both the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. In the Ramayana, Parshurama gave Lord Shiva's divine bow to King Janak, Sita's father, for Sita Swayamvar. The condition was that the prince who could lift this heavy and mysterious bow and string it would marry Sita. Many kings tried, but none succeeded. Finally, Lord Rama lifted the bow, and as he strung it, the bow broke into 2 pieces. The huge thunder-like sound disturbed Parshurama, who was meditating on Mount Mahendra. According to Valmiki Ramayana, when Rama and Sita were returning with King Dasharatha after the marriage, Parshurama appeared and blocked their path. He was angry and challenged Rama. He told Dasharatha that he would not punish the father but the son who had broken the bow. Dasharatha pleaded to punish him instead of Rama, but Parshurama refused. Rama responded politely, saying that because Parshurama was a Brahmin and a relative of sage Vishwamitra, he would not fight him. But Rama removed the divine powers that Parshurama had gained through long penance. This broke Parshurama's pride. He became calm and peaceful. In many Indian Ramleelas, this scene is shown with great grandeur. A popular folktale says that when Parshurama arrived in anger, Brahmarishi Vasishtha advised all kings not to fight him. Sita herself went to Parshurama and asked for blessings. Parshurama blessed her, Dirgha Sumangali Bhava, meaning, your husband will live with you for your entire life. When Parshurama moved forward to confront Rama, he suddenly found himself unable to lift his own parashu. Seeing Rama's divine radiance, kindness and power, Parshurama became still. He understood at that moment that the next incarnation of Vishnu stood before him. The bow Parshurama carried flew automatically towards Rama, and the soul of Lord Vishnu manifested completely through Rama. Thus, the 7th incarnation of Vishnu revealed his full divinity. Parshurama and Bhishma, 2 legendary warriors, shared a deep relationship as guru and disciple. Bhishma, a prince of the Kuru dynasty, learned weapons and warfare from Parshurama in his youth. Years later, they faced each other in battle due to Princess Amba. Bhishma had carried away Amba, Ambika and Ambalika from their Swayamvar due to a political misunderstanding. After that, no king agreed to marry Amba, and Bhishma could not marry her because of his lifelong vow of celibacy. Disappointed, Amba came to Parshurama seeking justice and asked him to punish Bhishma. Parshurama agreed and challenged his own disciple to battle. Their battle lasted 23 days. Both were wounded and covered in arrows. Bhishma knew the divine Pashupatastra of Lord Shiva, a weapon Parshurama did not know. When Bhishma was about to use it, the gods appeared before him and said, "Bhishma, using this against your teacher would be disrespectful. Stop." Bhishma obeyed. At that moment, the spirits of Parshurama's father Jamadagni and grandfather Ruchika appeared and told Parshurama, "Son, do not fight any more battles with Kshatriyas. Warfare belongs to Kshatriyas. For Brahmins, the true duty is knowledge and penance. Bhishma cannot be defeated. Let this be a final battle." Parshurama accepted this. The gods praised Bhishma's bravery. Bhishma bowed to Parshurama and sought his blessings. Parshurama said, "I used all my weapons, but none affected Bhishma. Your only protection is now Bhishma himself." Towards the end of the Vedic period, as Parshurama moved towards renunciation, he began donating all his wealth and weapons to Brahmins. At that time, Drona was a poor Brahmin. He approached Parshurama for help. Parshurama had already donated his gold to Kashyapa and his land to other Brahmins. The only things left with him were his body and his weapons. Parshurama asked Drona what he wanted. Drona replied, "Please give me all your weapons and complete knowledge of how to use them and call them back." Parshurama agreed and taught Drona all his divine war skills. Dronacharya later became the teacher of both Kauravas and Pandavas and played a major role in the Kurukshetra war. Karna, the son of Surya and the elder brother of the Pandavas, was raised in a charioteer family. When he requested Dronacharya to teach him, Drona refused because he taught only Kshatriyas. So he went to Parshurama and told him falsely that he was a Brahmin. Parshurama accepted him as a disciple and taught him all divine weapons. At the end of his education, Parshurama said to Karna, "Karna, you are equal to me in the knowledge of warfare." One day, Parshurama rested with his head on Karna's lap. At that moment, a scorpion stung Karna. Despite intense pain, he did not move, so his guru's sleep would not be disturbed. Blood flowed and Parshurama awoke. He said, "Only a Kshatriya can bear such pain without moving. You have lied to me." In anger, Parshurama cursed, "When you need my teachings the most, you will forget them." Karna apologized. Parshurama softened and gave him the Bhargavastra and his personal bow Vijay. Years later, during the Kurukshetra war, Karna saw Parshurama in a dream and asked him to take back the curse. Parshurama replied, "I knew you were a Kshatriya, but you were a worthy student, so I trained you. This curse was necessary. If you killed Arjuna, Duryodhana would become king and Adharma would rise." He continued, "You must fall to Arjuna so that Dharma can be established." Karna accepted this truth. Parshurama blessed him. "You will have eternal fame and unbroken honor." Later, Krishna also requested Karna to accept his destined end, and Karna agreed. Parshurama's three greatest disciples were Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Karna. All three fought on the Kaurava side, and all three met their end through situations filled with difficulty and unfairness. The Puranas contain many stories about Lord Parashurama. These stories describe his conversations with different gods and goddesses, his miraculous deeds, and how being immortal, he appeared in many ages. Once Kanshurama was going to the Himalayas to pay respect to his teacher, Lord Shiva. On the way, Lord Ganesha stopped him. Angered, Parshurama threw his axe at Ganesha. Ganesha knew the axe had been given to Parshurama by Shiva, so he willingly broke one of his own tusks.
When Goddess Parvati heard this, she became very angry and decided to cut off Parashurama's arms. She took the fierce form Durga and became mighty. Then Lord Shiva calmed her and said Parashurama was like his own son. Parashurama asked Parvati for forgiveness, and Ganesha spoke in his favor. Parvati forgave him. Parashurama then gifted his divine axe to Lord Ganesha and blessed him. Since then, Ganesha is called Ekadanta, the one with a single tusk. The Puranas say that on India's western coast, land was being lost because of waves and storms. Parashurama asked the sea god Varuna to return the land. When Varuna refused, Parashurama threw his axe into the sea. Where the axe fell, new land appeared, but it was salty and barren. Parashurama then prayed to the king of serpents, Nagaraj. The snakes spread through the new land, and their poison removed the saltiness, making the land fertile. In this way, Parashurama reclaimed lands from the sea, areas that today include Kerala, Konkan, Goa, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. This region is called the Parashurama Kshetra, Parashurama region. He installed Shiva images at 108 places there. These were offered in thanks because Shiva had blessed him after Parashurama's penance pleased Nagaraj. Another legend says Parashurama threw a rice sieve, soup, into the sea, and the sea receded, creating land at Gokarna. This land became known as Kerala or Shirparak. One arrow of Parashurama fell at Benaulim in Goa and formed a lake called Salakache Tolim, Lotus Lake. Stories say Parashurama gave the land to Rishi Kashyapa and asked the gods to settle and protect the new lands. He requested Shiva that as long as Parashurama lived there, Shiva should give him daily darshan. Shiva accepted this request. Parashurama settled 60 Brahmins in the region. One of them, Vyadmuni, installed a Shiva Linga at Guhagar. It is said that because gods live unseen in Kali Yuga, Shiva decided to dwell invisibly in that linga. Today it is known as Vyadheshwar. A king named Rama Bhoj was a devotee of Parashurama. He ruled from Gokarna to Kanyakumari and was an important ruler in the Parashurama region. While performing an Ashwamedha Yagya, the king accidentally killed a Naga, a serpent being, while plowing. To remove his sin, Parashurama ordered him to make a silver seat, Rajat Peet, with serpent images at its four corners. Parashurama also ordered a donation of gold equal to the king's weight, Tula Bharna. The king completed the yagya successfully and Parashurama appeared pleased. That silver seed remains a holy place and the land is known as Taulav. Once Parashurama became angry at the sun because it was extremely hot. He shot many arrows into the sky and frightened the sun. When his arrows were exhausted, he asked his wife Dharini for more arrows. The sun focused its rays on Dharini and she fainted. Parashurama became furious. The sun then appeared and offered him a parasol and sandals. These two items are still associated with Parashurama today. According to the Nath tradition, after his acts of revenge, Parashurama went to Gandhamadana mountain and received spiritual guidance from Lord Dattatreya. Their talks led to a work called Tripura Rahasya, which explains Advait Vedanta, non-dual knowledge. Dattatreya gave Parashurama scripture knowledge, detachment from the world, and the understanding of non-duality. Through this knowledge, Parashurama became free from the cycle of action and rebirth. Parashurama and the sage Agastya are credited in tradition with founding Kalaripayattu, considered one of the world's oldest martial arts. Parashurama learned weapon arts from Lord Shiva and mastered them fully. From that knowledge he developed Vadakan Kalari, northern style, which focuses more on weapons, while Agastya developed Thevara Kalari, southern style, which emphasizes empty hand techniques. Kalaripayattu is often called the mother of all martial arts. It is also believed that Bodhidharma, who later influenced Shaolin traditions, practiced similar martial skills and carried ideas to China that evolved into Shaolin Kung Fu. By the end of the Vedic age, Parashurama grew tired of war and bloodshed and chose renunciation. He gave up his possessions and weapons and took to penance. The Mahabharata says, after clearing the earth of Kshatriyas 21 times, Jamadagni's son set out for Mount Mahendra and began severe penance.
He went to the northern end of the eastern Ghats near present-day Mahendragiri and settled there. Before renouncing, he donated his conquered lands to land-owning Brahmins. These Brahmins ruled those regions for many centuries. These regions included Cheras, Pandyas, Dravidas, Moshikas, Karnataka, and Konkan. Unlike some other avatars of Vishnu, Parashurama is considered a Chiranjeevi, an immortal. He is said to still live in deep meditation in the caves of Mahendragiri. When unrighteousness reaches its peak on earth, he will reappear again and become the spiritual and martial teacher of Kalki, the final, 10th avatara of Vishnu. According to the prophecy, Parashurama will teach Kalki the hard penances of Lord Shiva, so Kalki can receive divine weapons and end the age of Kali. Parashurama was not only a warrior, he was a symbol of righteousness and justice, an example of self-control and sacrifice, and a living symbol of indestructible inner strength. He is said to remain alive in the caves of Mahendragiri, immersed in deep penance. When unrighteousness reaches its peak on earth, he will return again to guide the final avatar, Kalki. His story teaches us, true use of power protects dharma, and true knowledge removes ego. Jai Bhagwan Parashurama. Har Har Mahadev.